Hey there, friends on YouTube. It's the JTL. I'm back again, and today we need to talk about the Galaxy Note 7 and its death. So let's get to it. It's official. The Galaxy Note 7 is dead. After a recall due to exploding batteries and re-releases with safe phones that have green battery icons, and then those start to explode, finally Samsung has decided to pull the plug to put us out of our misery and get rid of the Note 7. For many of us, that causes a pretty huge problem. The fact that we like the Note 7, we wanted to own the Note 7, we've tried to own it now twice, and no dice. So for a second time, it's gone. And we need to talk about a couple of things. One, what could this possibly mean for Samsung as a brand and the Note line going forward? Will it be gone forever? Two, what phone should we get now? Let's get the Samsung thing out of the way. It's hard to know what kind of impact this is going to have on Samsung as a company and the Note 7 line as a phone. Samsung's a huge corporation. It's a way of life. It's also almost like a social strata in Korea. But they also are big on the supply side. They put parts in all different kinds of electronics, including probably the phone that you have right now, even if it's not a Samsung device. But still, no matter how big a company they are, there are plenty of examples of huge companies that have had huge market shares that have gone the way of the dodo. I mean, when was the last time you bought a Zenith television? When was the last time you had a Nokia cell phone? All these companies and more, they had huge market shares at one time, and then it just went away, poof. And that could happen to Samsung as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's going to take a lot of great marketing. It's going to take a lot of goodwill built back up. It's going to take a great product in what is probably the Galaxy S7 8 to make them stronger, to build their reputation back up. So yeah, the stakes are high for Samsung, but what about us? What about the little people, the folks who wanted to shell out way too much freaking money for a Note 7, and now we are left with a big hole in our pockets, hopefully not a burned hole, but a big hole in our pockets where a Note 7 used to be. What do we get? On the Apple side, you've got the iPhone 7, the 7 Plus, but those things are back ordered until the 8th of nowhere. Really, you can't get one before December, and the 7 Plus is even worse. I can't really count those in as part of your possible solution for not having a Note 7 anymore. So let's talk about the competition in the Android space. This has been a weird year for Android. Just about every Android phone in this cycle has the same specs. You can get a $400 phone that has the same specs as an $800 phone. And I don't know that that's ever really happened before. There's not a ton of difference between those phones. You know, maybe build quality a little bit here, maybe features a little bit there. But some of the $400 phones compete or beat some flagship phones. Almost every Android phone in this cycle has a Snapdragon 820. Almost every phone has an Adreno 530 GPU, and they've got super sharp screens. Every manufacturer brings a little bit of something different, but by and large, every Android phone in this cycle is just about the same. So what are your choices? On the low-cost side, you've got phones like the ZTE 7, you've got the One Pls 3, you've got Huawei's Honor 8. Even last year's Nexus 6P is still out and about, and you can get it for, less than $400 in some places I've seen. I wish that I could say the Google Pixel phone fit in this space, but it does not anymore. Google has tried to position that phone to compete directly with the iPhone. They've bumped the price. They've got 32 and 128 gigabytes of storage. They've got a slightly better processor in the Snapdragon 821, but they're trying to compete now on the flagship level. And that phone is not out until October 20th. So if you need a new phone today, the Pixel's not exactly available for you. On the flagship side, you've got, none of them have the S Pen. That's sort of the Note line's killer function. A lot of people love to have the S Pen. I found that I really like to have it, but I didn't use it as much as I needed to. But all the rest of the phones pretty much, as I said, have the same internals. If you want to stay with Samsung, you got the S7, you got the S7 Edge, which are basically the same phones. The S7 has a 5.3-inch screen, I believe, or 5.2, and the S7 Edge has a 5.5. Now, the Note 7 had the 5.7, but hey, we're talking point this, that, the other thing. They're S Penless. And then on the AT&T side, if you're with AT&T, you can grab the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active, which is a ruggedized phone, and then you can look at the Note 5, which I didn't particularly like, and it's the first Note that I didn't buy because it didn't have expandable storage. So those are your Samsung options. But if you want to branch out from there, try something different, you've got the HTC 10, which has been an overlooked phone for the most part, but it has great audio, great performance. And then you've got the LG V20. Again, this is a phone that doesn't come out until October 20th. But again, great audio, great screen, and a secondary screen that it works sort of like a dock above the main screen. But the G5, the LG G5 is out there now, and another option. The build quality on that phone is not the greatest, and they tried to implement some modularity, but the implementation wasn't so awesome, and it's kind of looked on now as a failure. Buyer beware there. There are a few other options out there, but that's a pretty comprehensive list of other similarly spec'd phones out there worthy of consideration to replace the Note 7 in your pocket. I did leave one phone out though, the one that I decided to go for. I returned my Note 7 last week. I was getting terrible battery life. I was down to like 50% by noon in a couple of cases, and I just got really frustrated. I did a lot of research. I really thought about what is most important to me in a smartphone, and I came down to two things: battery life, as I just said, but also durability. I just really didn't want to get into a phone that felt fragile to me. As beautiful as the Note 7 was, as much as I loved it, every time I took it out of my pocket, I was afraid I was going to drop it on the ground and crack it, and it was like candy. It was so nice, but I couldn't bring myself to put a case on it because it was so pretty, and I wasn't going to use a D-brand skin because D-brand, you folks have become whores. You're on every smartphone video, and it just kills me. Stop whoring yourself in every video, okay? We get it. I decided to look at the Moto Z and the Moto Z Force. It had, the Z Force particularly has been known to have great battery life. It's ruggedized to a certain extent and a metal back. I was interested in, but didn't think I would really fall into or buy into the mod concept that they had going on. I was going to get another style shell, the backs that they have, or two, and maybe the battery pack. But while I was at the store, I kind of just decided, hey, I'm going to try out the JBL Sound Boost speaker to see what that was like. And I also saw that they had this Hasselblad True Zoom camera, so I decided to check that out as well. I likely won't keep the Hasselblad because $300 or $250 for a camera attachment, I'd just go get another camera. I don't know, but I've been impressed. I decided to go with the Moto Z. I decided to go with the Moto Z Force because it gave me a lot of the options that I needed to feel comfortable with my phone. Now, you might have other things that you're concerned about. Looks might be, you might not like the look of this phone. You might want to go with a Samsung because you're a Samsung guy. You might want to go back to Apple because you just recently switched. Who knows? But what we do know is the Note 7 is dead, and that leaves millions of people looking for a new device. I hope this rambling video was helpful to you in your search for a new phone and my thoughts about what is important in a new phone in this day and age. Let me know what your choices are in terms of what you're considering to replace a Note 7. Talk to me down in the comments about your frustrations about Samsung and the Note 7. Do you think they made the right choices? I really appreciate you all being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you didn't really like it, I'm sorry, life is tough, and we're all disappointed at one point or another. If you feel like subscribing, then there's a subscribe button down there. I'm going to do a review of the Moto Z Force and the attachments that I got. I'm going to be talking more about other tech stuff, do a lot of headphone and audio videos. So thanks for being here. I hope you come back again. Until the next time, this is the JTL, and I am out.